Emmy award-winning filmmaker.
Oh yeah, you get in trouble if you make up things.
Screenwriting professor in media arts and design.
It's a learning process for everybody.
Tom O'Connor.
What we're studying is the most fun thing in the world.
This is The Last Lap.
It's not about you in the art. It's about the art in you.
Well, hello again, and welcome to The Last Lap. I'm Mia, and this is a 10-episode podcast where I interview my favorite, most interesting professors and mentors during the last 10 days of my undergraduate career here at JMU. These are all the questions I've ever wanted to ask them about their stories, the life lessons they've learned, what else? Their areas of studies, and surprise, there's a little bit of something to take away in each episode for everybody out there listening. Today, I am here with Tom O'Connor, Emmy award-winning screenwriter and filmmaker who, so graciously shared his presence and knowledge as a professor in the School of Media Arts and Design for the past 30 years, ! And Wells Bridgeforth fellow student, incredible hip-hop dancer, artist, and Biffle is also here to join us for the chat today. Say hello!
Hey.
You got no sleep, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's finals week. It was smart to have a podcast during finals week. Currently on 1.5 hours, so that's fun. But today we are here with Professor Tom O'Connor, Emmy award-winning. Is this true? Are these true facts?
Oh yeah, you get in trouble if you make up things in the professional world. You sound surprised. There's one of them. I mean,
are you kidding? I'm looking at it. I'm gonna have to touch that later.
Golden Eagle.
It's a Cine Golden Eagle. It's an international award. The Emmys are national. This is an international. Been going forever, long time. There's one in the case there, and then there's one at home. This was a documentary that on Haiti, and a group called Food for the Poor. It was a show about these people who were helping Haitians. It's just an impossible place. People have been trying to help it for years. Anyway, it's a story about them and the work that they're doing, and it's called their title, "Love One Another." But that's that. And then the Emmy was in 1984. This dates me. Was on Fatima, the reported apparitions of the Virgin Mary in Fatima, reported, and it looks at the role of how one knows something. And so it plays with the idea of religion and science.
Oh, awesome.
That's enough.
So while you're not winning Emmys, you're a professor here, which is cool. So 30 years at JMU.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Wells and I, we both script writing.
Mm-hmm.
I've been to so many of your classes now, I can say them all. Mm-hmm. And then we both were in the JMU and LA program.
Yep.
So we studied abroad. LA is a different world, honestly, so you can say it's abroad.
Different coast.
A different coast. Coastest with the mostest. But we were there for 2 months, and Tom and Sarah, his wife, were our advisor. What was your favorite part about LA?
This is the 6th one, and they tend to blend together.
Yeah.
But I think I'd have to say seeing Smokey Robinson and the Miracles at the Hollywood Bowl was one of the highlights in terms of the fun events we did. He was so cool. I remember him growing up, Smokey Robinson, and he was just as cool at 75.
Yeah. Didn't he wear green? He wore like this green suit.
He wore like an emerald green 3-piece disco suit.
And what a lot of people don't know is that he wrote most of the things for the Temptations. It was a comparable group of Motown, where I grew up, essentially outside Detroit, when it wasn't what my brother used to call the toilet. You could cut that. Well, in any case, Motown and Smokey, that was great fun. And I think it's educational. It's all entertainment. Yeah. What we're studying is the most fun thing in the world, entertainment. Mm-hmm. And it's also the hardest thing to actually do. The idea of wide open, focused, because TV and film are the most visible But there's all these jobs behind there. Like we've got a casting person coming this year.
Oh, that's exciting.
Everybody, it's a big
Ooh,
role
people are gonna love
casting,
that.
makeup. I mean, different things. Props. They have to go find props.
There's a lot that goes into props.
Do you know where they find props for period movies? The
I've always
Sears
wanted to know.
catalog.
No.
Yeah, it goes back to 1902.
Sears?
catalog.
So, like Sears robot.
Glasses, glasses. They used to sell horses, everything. They find out, one way they find out what kind of glasses they wore in 1984 or 72 or 29 is looking there.
That's incredible. Well, so what's your favorite part of LA?
Smokey Robinson was definitely a really, really great one. I think hiking to the Hollywood sign was pretty great.
I think that's my favorite too.
Us East Coasters tried to wake up early for the sunrise on the West Coast, but we decided to go for a little friendly hike that ended up being 7.5 miles, getting to the Hollywood sign and back. But it was an adventure.
It felt like it was straight up, honestly. Like, over the mountain.
Yeah.
We were like, okay,
Well,
there's a
also,
mountain, we're gonna climb that. It
Jeremy
was
and I
amazing.
did not pick the best trails.
You guys were the leaders.
Well, one of the
Oh my
things
gosh.
about that year, I do remember Sarah and I speaking, is that how wonderful the group was as a whole. And you two, I think, played important roles, different roles, but important roles in it. I chose you because you were smart, also, but also because you weren't primarily smart. You're an artist. You're at heart an artist. I wanted somebody with a different view. I'm always looking for that because everybody thinks SMAD is SMAD in LA. It's SMAD, it's JMU in LA, not SMAD. With Mia, she's just bubbling all the time and lovely and hardworking. So all of you,
Already
it was
a mogul.
actually the whole group.
Thanks.
It was the whole group that was quite special, and they turn out to be special in different ways. And it's something I wish I had started 20 years ago when I was tired of lecturing in the same thing and wanted to get out and get everybody out. And I had been saying it, but nobody did it until Steve came along, Anderson, the director,
Yeah.
who was smart enough to let his faculty go and try things.
That's
Just
amazing.
go. We didn't get any permission from anybody because in a big university it doesn't happen. You just do it, try it, and it was a lark. I read it. I looked up Seth, and it just went from there. Seth got a big promotion.
Yeah, he's
He's
doing
at
big
Universal.
things.
Oh, really?
He's a
Yeah.
senior producer at Universal.
Oh, I didn't hear about his
And-
promotion. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you've been an actor. I didn't
Yeah.
know that you started in acting. That's incredible. So you did acting. You're a producer.
Shakespearean, right?
Right before we started this, he was quoting Shakespeare, and I was like, oh my goodness,
The
how
famous
amazing.
Academy of Dramatic Art, based on the Royal Academy in London, which is on Gower Street across from the old Madison House. So yeah, after high school, I went right there because I didn't want to study anymore. I was a disaster in high school, so it was deeply ironic that I ended up becoming a professor in some ways. Except in college, I loved, they treated you like an adult. Acting is good for everything, especially in my lectures, because I don't pretend anymore. I used to actually act the way I was expected to act, like a professor who had everything together, and I got to a point after about 20 years in, I just was myself. There were good and bad parts of that. The good part was I was myself and honest and sometimes funny when they got it. Dry humor is lost on young students. Screenwriting is more of a writing workshop, and at its best, it's a group effort. The advanced one I'm in now is I feel like I'm just one of the people. They're so good and serious about theater and film and writing, just happens that way, that I'm just like one of the colleagues, and there's a great Latin phrase that essentially means teaching is a group effort.
Wow.
And just like a play that has a text, an audience, and actors, they're together. And the best classes are classes where students and the professor work together on it, because especially with something like the creative arts, but really anything, it's a learning process for everybody.
Definitely.
Very true.
You get older and you learn, you get humbled, and you realize a professor is not supposed to know everything.
Yeah. No,
You can't.
I think that's an interesting point too. I'm in an acting elective right now, which is fun. It's kind of hard. It's a lot more work than I thought it'd be, which is okay. But it's very interesting, and we're learning right now because I did theater in high school, and I feel like you always do like in acting. You think you put on an act, like you're someone else. You're a character. Oh my gosh, what's happening to me? You're a character, right? But so in this class right now, we're learning that the best acting is when you bring yourself to that acting. And so we'll do workshops with pieces, and he'll tell people, he's like, you're putting on an act. Like, I don't see enough of you in there. Like, you're trying to be this character. Right. And I think people shy away from in acting and just in general, like, putting themselves into a person because they think they're supposed to be someone else to tell a story. But it's like, that's why you are that character, because you bring who you are. I don't know, I just think that was interesting.
True. Profoundly true. That it's called the, Stanislavski method. It's and it's a different view. It's not about you in the art. It's about the art in you, and where you are yourself playing yourself in circumstances that the character's in, and with the background of the character and so forth. But it's more truthful.
Yeah.
Because it's actually you, and you're drawing on real experiences. That you could be saying a line, but you're thinking of something that really happened to you in your life that moved you. And it comes out. The audience doesn't know what you're thinking.
So out of being an actor and a producer and a writer, what is your favorite out of all three that you've done? Like, what's your favorite thing to do?
Oh, I think acting. I think acting is one of the things that I will explore when I retire from teaching, which is imminent, is to go back to the road, see if I can find the road not taken. I quote Robert Frost's great, The Road Not Taken, and see what happens. Do you want a tidbit?
I would love a tidbit.
It's probably 2 minutes. I'll just read the quote. This is a famous quote called "Man in the Arena," and it was a speech, an excerpt from the speech, a speech that Teddy Roosevelt gave at the Sorbonne in 1919. It goes like this: "It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes up short, and again, because there is no effort without error or shortcoming. But who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who at the best, in the end, the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat." It actually happened to Teddy. Teddy took up boxing at Harvard, and he was actually outmatched terribly, and he kept getting knocked out. He wouldn't stay down, and he was humiliated. His new girlfriend was in watching it, and he was a bloody mess, and they finally called it because he wouldn't quit. 2 lessons I get out of that is, do something that's worth doing, and finish it, whatever it is. If it's a no,
Definitely.
finish it.
I love that.
And secondly, learn from your experience. Teddy never went on to be a boxer. He went on to be the president of the United States, but the integrity and
sure.
the indefatigable quality that he had served him well, and he learned it, and it was one of the great illustrations. That really was from his own life. Not everybody knows that, but it came right out of his own experience.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid to try things.
I love that. So, speaking of experiences, you're retiring this year. So this is our last lap because Wells and I are seniors, and this is your last lap too, which is crazy. But you were recently in an article for The Breeze, which is our school newspaper, and actually Harrison newspaper. It's like award-winning, right? It's pretty awesome.
It's award-winning, yep.
But I really like this quote. You said, "It's always good not to be certain about things because that's when you fall." So could you talk a little about that and talk about an experience where you sort of learned that lesson? Because it sounds like there's a lesson wrapped up in that.
Old Testament proverbs. First comes pride, then comes the fall. Just when you are thinking too much of yourself, you'll fall. I also got it from Graham Greene. Graham Greene was he said he likes to keep moving because he feels like the ice is thin and may fall at any point. So he was a great traveler and writer and so forth. But, nobody, certainty is so difficult. It reminds me of Hamlet's great quote, nothing is either good nor bad, but thinking makes it so. And that is, not that there's not tragedies and you say, oh yeah, that is a tragedy, but it's how you think about your failures and your successes, and I think being modest, actually, understating, and it's something all of us have. I have a terrible time, indirectly blowing my own trumpet in the most subtle fashion. So I have somebody like Sarah, who's my great critic, who reminds me of that, whether it's in editing something or that. Nothing is absolutely certain. So you don't want to be fearful in doing things, but don't get too cocky.
Yeah,
definitely.
And that's the point of Roosevelt's famous quote is that he tried and he failed and he failed, and he failed at many things.
Yeah.
But he just kept doing them.
Yeah.
And doing what he felt was worth doing, not what somebody was thinking about him. It says, we tend to listen to the little boys saying, try something safer, something you can't fail at. Or if you do fail, no one will notice. Don't listen to the critics. The critics don't count. What does count is doing something you care deeply about simply because it's worth doing in and of itself, not because it's guaranteed to be successful.
I like that a lot.
That's amazing. I got a little Dove chocolate wrapper the other day, and it was like, don't bother what the neighbors think. So, it's funny. Is this a sign? All these things keep coming up?
It's profoundly true. It's like Zelig, if you ever saw the documentary, or a pseudo-documentary, where we want to blend in. We want to be like everybody, want to be liked. Teddy Roosevelt, everybody should read. There's 7 biographies in a row. The Pulitzer Prize winning one is by Edmund Morris, The Rise of Teddy Roosevelt. He didn't care about anything. Whatever he was himself, he did what he wanted to do and felt was right. And he was the great man who said, speak softly but carry a big stick. He was president for almost 8 years, 2 terms, almost elected to a 3rd term, and there was never a war. He was never involved in a war. And so.
Wow. I'm making my Twitter bio.
I'll keep it to
That'd be pretty great. Insta bio. All right, so we have a speed round coming up. But last question. One thing I love, especially in screenwriting this semester, so I have class with you. You've always told your students, and you teach us, action is the heart of things. You say you're going into Act 3 of your life. What do you plan on doing next? What's your next thing?
I mean, I think at this point it's not blocked out. I'm taking the Stephen King approach to novel, and he never knows the end. But it is Act 3, and it's a new beginning, and I feel I am not retiring to play, to go swimming or to lay in the... It's just a new bit of work, and I referenced earlier that Robert Frost's great poem about the road not taken. Well, there was early on when there was a road not taken.
Yeah.
The acting road, which I had started on, and so I think at least explore the road I didn't take.
Awesome.
And these days, it's retirees are more in demand than romantic leads.
They are. Yeah.
Yeah.
It almost rhymes.
Now, will you travel a lot with that?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm looking at it as an avocation, as a sort of hobby. I have no great expectations.
Oh,
it's just something I want to explore.
Yeah.
The other thing I plan to do is travel. So.
What's on your JMU bucket list? Do you have one more thing you do for you leave JMU?
I don't have any time. It's an unpleasant bucket that I have to move out of this office.
You have like one of the nicest offices in this building.
I know. I wish everyone could see it, honestly.
Everybody's been coveting,
So
colleagues
cozy.
have been coming like younger siblings. Hey, anybody cleaned the office yet?
Do you ever nap on this couch? This is a nice couch.
Yeah, I do. I've had it for 30 years.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, yes. I sometimes.
Yes, that's awesome.
It's a great office. I miss that, and that's the last thing that I have to do. But I will be Professor Emeritus, which means that you're still attached to the university.
Wait, okay, so I lied. I actually have one more question. What is your dream project to create? Because I know you do documentaries. It doesn't have to be a documentary, but what would be your dream project to work on?
Oh, it's getting produced, a screenplay I wrote about Shakespeare in the Jesuits, 16th century movie called Fools of Time.
Ooh, it's gonna be so cool.
Yeah, Fools of Time comes from Shakespeare.
Yeah,
to this
Fools
I
of
witness call the fools of time, who lived for goodness but died for crime. The priests, Catholic and Protestants who were killed, they lived for goodness but died for crime, a crime against the state. Under Queen Elizabeth, you couldn't be Catholic. Under Queen Mary, her stepsister, you couldn't be Protestant. And it all goes back to the Reformation, Henry VIII. It was brutal. There are connections to the religious, fanaticism that goes on today.
Wow, it's gonna be
there it is.
hype. It's gonna be Shakespearean.
Especially
lit.
after Spotlight and everything, you get a lot of attention.
It's a big deal.
Oh my, that scared me. You're important. You have a phone call.
I never get phone calls.
Answer it. I'm just kidding.
Hello? Sarah. You're the only one who calls
It's his
me.
wife.
This is being it's in the middle of a podcast, but it's fine. What's up?
Hi, Sarah.
Hi, Sarah.
We love you.
It's in Beverly Hills. Okay.
Yeah.
Dan Tan.
Good old Sarah.
It's the best steak you've ever eaten in a small, elegant. There's a lot of famous people who go there.
Are you gonna take them there this
We'll
year?
add it to the list.
But people don't know it as a famous place.
We all had our spots that we thought we'd see the most famous people at. I think my favorite was Alex said we should go to the Viper Room because that's where the celebrities that are addicted to drugs go.
What was the name of that?
The Viper Room.
Oh, to remember that. I mean,
We'll speed through this because it's speed round. So you have to think really quick. You have to think hard and quick, and it's gonna happen. Are you ready? Are you ready for this?
no, but I'll go ahead. I'll try it.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Let's go. Favorite moment at undergrad.
A moment at the University of Michigan where I crossed over a bridge there and thought of the great romantic poem called Intimations of Immortality.
Okay.
It's by Shelley or Keats. I forgot which.
Okay.
Just popped into my mind.
Amazing. Favorite moment at JMU. There's so many.
You're supposed to think. I can't. Favorite What I think getting hired. Actually,
Mm-hmm.
it was, there were a couple of options. JMU said yes before Maryland did, and it was good because Maryland went bankrupt. The media department,
Wow.
they cut it.
Yeah.
So it's a good thing I didn't go there.
Okay, your heart song. So not your favorite song. It's like you as a song.
Old Love by
Okay.
Eric Clapton.
I love
It's
Eric
a
Clapton.
terrific song.
All right, your cry song. So what song would you cry to?
I don't cry. Cry Me a River.
By Justin Timberlake.
No, by
Oh, Ray Charles.
Ray Charles.
Nice. Okay. I was like,
guess he
JT?
sang it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, a moment you felt most alive.
I suppose winning the Emmy,
Yeah.
and it was they had an explosion. I walked up
Like confetti?
of a puff of smoke,
Oh,
and out of
cool.
the smoke came a woman in red with
The freaking Emmy?
the Emmy,
What?
and it, since it had to do with mystery and miracle, they
did a
used
play
that.
on it. That's
Oh my
fun.
gosh. Okay, how do you overcome fear?
By doing it. At least that's what I tell myself.
Okay, if you were a Jamie professor, what would you be?
Teddy Roosevelt.
When I
I like
grew
it.
up, okay, if you could win an award for anything, what would you win? Don't say Emmy, because it's already a thing.
Ever think in those terms? It's been so long. The greatest professor award. A good professor. A much loved professor.
Who would you think in your acceptance speech for that award? Best professor.
The one who produced it.
And your students, right?
Yes, of course.
Okay, the final question is...
What about our class? We've got to go.
I'll go teach the class.
We'll go teach it.
I got you.
Please.
Okay, this is the last question. One piece of advice you have for every college kid going out into the world in one word only.
Risk.
Dang. Drop the mic. Not this one, though. Just got it.
That's tough. One word.
Yeah, isn't it?
That's tricky.
I've gotten really good answers so far, so.
Yeah.
Well, that concludes it. We can go to class now. We can be off to class.
Right.
Thank you so much
Right.
for taking
You'll
time
have
to do
teach it
this.
because I haven't had time to prepare.
We'll prepare. We have a walkover. We can do it. Thank you, Els, for coming. And
you for
thanks for
having
listening, y'all. All right. Have a good day. Bye. All right, thank you so much for listening. Shout out to Seth Kingsley. We love you. I hope you learned something new or at least laughed a little today. Subscribe for more podcasts and other stories and digital content. If you're listening on YouTube or Facebook, leave a comment to answer the takeaway question that's in the description, respond to any of the topics, or even start your own. I promise to read them. Finally, find me on Twitter and Instagram at yourstruly_Mia_, and let's be friends. Tune into next episode with the amazing Pam Johnson. She's hilarious. You're gonna love it. Thanks again for listening, and remember, the best learning happens inside and outside the classroom. This is The Last Slap, and until next episode, gotta run. The Last Slap is produced and edited by Mia Brabham, music by Brian Kim.